We are going behind the story, remembering Columbine 25 years later. Families of those who were killed want the day to be about more than just what happened. They want to highlight the positive changes and the work that has come out of that day. 13 people died in those shootings and countless others were injured. Earlier this month, your Jefferson County reporter Karen Morfitt sat down with those families wanting to share. Tonight, she is sharing Rachel Scott's story, one that has touched millions of lives.
Stories have always changed the world.
But ask Daryl Scott, and he'll be the first to tell you he never imagined his daughter, Rachel Joyce Scott's story, would be on that list.
The truth is, my vision was just to honor her for a year. I thought maybe if I could honor her for a year and let people know who she was, her diaries, her writings.
After the shooting, investigators kept Rachel's backpack as evidence. It was weeks before the family would get it back.
So I rushed over to get it, and I went out to my vehicle, and when I opened up her backpack, her final diary was there. And I pulled it out. Like any parent, I wanted to see the last thing she had written.
Instead, he found this drawing and pages of short poems. On the back, a message.
Of her final diary was a hole in her diary where a bullet entered. And right where that bullet entered, she had written, "I won't be labeled as average."
Today, it's a mantra for students across the country, shared as part of a program known as Rachel's Challenge.
After we lost Rachel, it was like we discovered this whole side of her that we had never seen before.
We go into schools, we do assemblies, we create a Friends of Rachel club. We call them FOR clubs. We're for things, not against things. We're not against bullying, we're for kindness.
25 years later, they continue to expand, and Rachel's story continues to change, even save lives.
We see 150 suicides every year prevented.
Still, Daryl says they have to do more.
Well, we have to, because if we're seeing the negative increase, which we are, we've got to see the positive increase.
And Karen joins me now. Karen, Rachel's brother, Craig, was also at Columbine during that shooting.
He was, and he did not share his story with us for this day of remembrance, but we have spoken with him before. He also has a program called Value Up, which focuses on valuing life, much like Rachel's story.
Yeah, and we know that there are no public memorials this week, and that's actually what the families wanted.
Yeah, we sat down with them weeks before this remembrance and asked them, what it is that they wanted to see this time around. And they really asked us to focus only on the changes that have come from that day, looking at all of the positive things and wanting to remember those 13 lives a little bit differently.
Who else will you be talking to this week, and what can we look forward to seeing on CBS News Colorado?
Right. Well, their representatives put out a letter to all of the families, many of the survivors, folks who were there in 1999, and asked them who wanted to share their stories. All of those that wanted to, we sat down and we talked with them. So that includes, families of Rachel Scott that you just heard from. We also spoke with John Tomlin's sister. We spoke with Tom Mauser, who's played a very large role in changing gun laws in the state. And he also shares a story, just, things that you haven't heard before. And so we sat down with them, and that's what we asked them. We said, tell us something, that we haven't heard in 25 years. And so you'll be seeing some of that this week.
Really a different and unique perspective as we remember, of course, what happened at Columbine 25 years ago.
Yeah, remembering their lives and not what happened. Well, a day of remembrance, April 20th, has also been declared a day of service here in Colorado. Columbine families use the day as a way to give back after the outpouring of support and kindness they saw from people across the world. They ask everyone to honor the lives lost by performing an act of kindness in their community. For the 8th year, Columbine students and staff, past and present, organize a variety of service projects. Sam Bauer-Sox Daly is a social studies teacher at Columbine today and helps organize the event every year, with communities all over the world participating.
Some of them are, friends of Columbine and teachers and students who have gone off to do other things or know other people and were touched by somebody at Columbine at some point. But yeah, every year we hear from folks in Europe and in Tanzania and all the way to, we had a submission the other day from Java, Indonesia. And sometimes you get them and you're like, oh, a bot found our website, and then you're like, oh, we're helping cats at the local shelter. And it's like, wow.
It really is awesome work that they are doing. And if you are planning your own day of service event, they want to hear your stories. You can share with the organizers using a form on their website, columbineserves.org. We also have a link online at our website, cbscolorado.com.